Hey, today I'm going to be working on a small art project because I really don't get around to enough of those. Here's the scratch board I'm using. I've experimented a little with using Sharpies to outline certain shapes. See how well that's done. It looks kind of nice. Very, very cartoonish. Well, the experiment I'm going to be working on today is a gradient. If you remember the last photo, why did I say photo? I'm not a photographer. The last painting that I made had a really nice gradient in the sky to make a really nice atmospheric event. So I'm going to do something similar here with a gradient between colors. Let me show you how I'm going to be experimenting with this. So first, I have made this rectangular border that I'm going to be working within, and then I've put down 3 blobs of acrylic paint. One small, one medium, one large, at different distances. Then I'm going to take the emerald green paint and I'm going to blend them in so that it starts on a dark emerald green and ends on a light green similar to that color right next to the emerald green. Hopefully it'll have a nice even gradient. It probably won't. I added way too much acrylic paint. But I'll see how this works. The answer is no. I don't know if you're asking a question, but the answer is it doesn't work. Because I actually did it extremely wrong. Not even a little wrong, but entirely wrong. As you can see, there is no gradient blend here. It is just a lot of paint being mixed together. That's not how paint works. That is not what a good painting is. And I wasted very little. That's good. No, this isn't how it's done. I was taught differently. I knew this was wrong, but I wanted to try it out. I wanted to do something. That's what I did. I did something bad. And now I'm paying for the consequences. That's how it works. So, no, I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to do it a little differently, and I'll show you the results of that. Here's what I'm doing different. The first time I put the white acrylic on the board, I mixed it up a little, so it's a bit of a nicer gradient, as you can see. Still not what I wanted. Very shallow gradient. Like there's kind of a green and kind of a green. Now this time, the white acrylic is going on the mixing board with the red paint now, before it is being applied there, and it'll slowly be mixed in. Which is actually what I did the first time. Why I had to try it the wrong way a second time is because I'm a dunce. So, here's what that looked like when I'm finished. That looks a lot nicer. Much more of a dynamic color change. Except for that one part where I accidentally retouched it, or I didn't need to. Back up, you can hardly see it. Yeah, you can. No, that's something I'm working on, is color blending, color gradient, color changing. This is one of the assignments we had in class, but it was a black to white scale, and it was specific squares, whereas what I'm doing here is attempting more of a slow change. So, how does that look? The answer is they look okay. They have a few straight lines. That one has more lines, straight lines, because there's more acrylic mixed in. That one is a bit tussled there, but not up there. I don't know what the consistency here is. Maybe I just lifted the tape too soon. Oh well. So now I have all this left over. Yay! It's just sitting there, and I can't. I don't know what. Enough of that. Scratch. I have scratched as much of that wet paint off as I can. This is all now dry, and I made kind of a rosy cloud, connected sort of a sea breeze with a very atmospheric gray in this. I scratched a bunch of paint onto a piece of wood. I can make that sound as light and fluffy as I can, but ultimately I just took paintbrushes and I scratched that off, and I scratched it onto the piece of wood. That's why it's called a scratch board. Because when you're painting, essentially all painting involves mixing colors. You're never just going to paint a painting with only those colors, unless you have absolutely no creativity like I do. Ta-da! No creativity whatsoever. So when you're mixing paints, you're going to be using more than you will be putting on your piece, your painting, the canvas, the paper, the wood, whatever. So there's always going to be some left over. It's just kind of an inevitability. You're never going to make exactly as much paint as you can, and if you do, call the Guinness Book of World Records. It's something new. So, when I'm done, I scratch it onto a piece of wood, hence scratch board. And then this has like layers and layers and layers of paint on it, and it's just kind of a playground for me. I have pieces that I've done before. I'm going to finish this one today. That's not a scratch board, that is. Fortunately, I can tell the difference. So, Before I get to finishing that one, I'm going to look into some more stencil work. So I'll show you what that looks like. Here's what I start out with. That's what I ended up with. Yay! I'm going to try it again. That looks nice. Pretty clean lines. Hooray! Oh no! I messed it up. I need to try again. That one looked nicer the first time. Okay, that's kind of nice. I made some corn chips. Corn chip, corn chip, corn chip. I'm gonna make something green. There you go, magical green circle, just like I said. Made of the most realistic color of vomit imaginable. Because sometimes that's just the color you paint with. On accident. Because I thought it'd be a nicer shade of green, but it wasn't. Is that why you were asking me if I wanted a banjo? So we could duel?
I can do that on a banjo and it sounds really cool.
Oh, nice.
Banjos are fretted and fingered differently than guitar.
Yeah?
And I knew some basic chords. But I have a banjo, it's at Carlton's house. And I said, oh, cool, you got a banjo. He goes, well, that's, I'd forgotten, I'd given it to him, or loaned it to him. No, that's yours. You want it back? And I said, oh yeah, that's right, I have a banjo. You have it. Yes, yeah. And I was supposed to take it home right then, and I didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll pick it up later.
Yeah, whatever.
And I thought of you. You like playing different instruments, and oh, by the way, you wired the side backwards.
Oh, sorry.
You go this way when you tune it up, this way when you tune it. They're the same direction, technically.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it. I just...
Cheer up, Charlie, I love you.
Here, let's do that one again. One more time. Okay? Yeah, really easy. Yeah, listen to that music.
Listen up.
Cheer up, Charlie, I love you.
She guys off.
You cheer up, Charlie, I love you.
Singing this for Mike.
It's not too late for you to know that, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You go back to back.
Keep the whole world singing all day long. Watch goodwill come a-winging on a song. Smile a while you are singing of carry your part. Keep the melody